The earth began as a haven for living things. The perfect balance of land and water made it possible for the circle of life to exist in our planet. Everything was in perfect harmony. There were beautiful mountains and forests where creatures could live. There were rivers and seas that streamed through land in order to provide creatures with what they need. Trees were all around where we can get all our resources. Each part of the earth had a concrete role to play until human beings came to life and they needed a lot of things. They took everything they could from what was around them. Imbalance began, but it wasn't too much yet. And then, human beings became smarter creatures. They took advantage of what they can do and continued on building their wants at the expense of their environment. Trees were cut in order to build homes that fit the lifestyle of humans. Fresh air or flood wasn't a consideration as long as there are additional raw materials. Machines that emit pollution were created to ease out hard work. Modes of transportation that allows humans to move from one point to another were created along with the creation of excess gases in the ozone. Of course, humans didn't let animals escape from them. Animals were caught by humans to add up as a resource material in the many things they needed. These animals also served as food for humans, even as they become fewer around us. In less than 1,000 of years, the perfect balance of our Earth became chaotic. Now, it is our environment that suffers.
Even in the age of technological advancement, one of the most important resources are trees. However, at the same time, these trees are one of the most abused and scarce resources available. An equivalent of as much as 270,000 trees are being dumped every day in landfills, and from these figures, 10% come from tissue papers alone. And with the emergence of globalization, we can only expect it to grow even bigger. Now, the current ratio of reforestation and tree felling is 1:10. And with this, we could believe that our future is bleak. If we are to maintain sustainability, we must address these issues through different means. And one of these is through recycling. By recycling a ton of paper alone, we could save as much as 70 trees. Another is to join reforestation projects, such as the LaSallian's 1 Million and Beyond project. And finally, what we could do is to join advocacies against such malpractices against these natural resources, if we want to sustain these resources and ourselves in the long run. I care for the environment. I'll plant trees.
Every river that you try to cross, every gun you ever had went off. Oh, just wait until the fire starts.
carbon dioxide is released in the air whenever we burn fossil fuels such as gas, oil, or coal. Naturally, plants and trees take in the carbon dioxide that is produced, but our rate of burning fossil fuel is so quick that plants and trees cannot absorb the carbon dioxide. If plants and trees cannot absorb these carbon emissions, the overall temperature of the planet will continue to increase. This global warming can cause calamities such as floods, hurricanes, and heat waves. We need to reduce our burning of fossil fuels. What we need to do is to understand our carbon footprint. Carbon footprint works by measuring our overall purchases and purchasing habits to the amount of carbon emissions we produce in these purchases. The more energy that is needed to produce whenever we purchase something, the higher our carbon footprint is. Which means that the higher carbon footprint is, the more you produce carbon emissions. We encourage to help save the planet by knowing your carbon footprint and doing the little things that help reduce carbon emissions, such as using a bike for transportation or going for a swim on a hot day. If everyone does the little things to reduce carbon emissions, imagine how safer our planet will be for everyone.
I care about the environment. I'll ride the train.
I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone. Sweep the streets I used to own.
Your waste builds up and accumulates for this country's trash and pollution issues. Trash eventually comes back to us. The piece of plastic you threw can go into the sewage system and clog the flow of water. Well, the candy wrapper you threw just now can end up in the rivers, which can cause pollution to water. And pollution to water can eventually end up killing our fishes. While we know that we can't eliminate trash completely, there really are better ways of disposing it. Simple ways like segregating your trash, recycling, and reusing can make a big difference. Most importantly, throwing trash in their proper place can begin the change we want to happen.
Never alone, it's worth.
I care for my environment, I'll segregate my trash.
As we consume more, we produce more trash. But what can we do about it? The things we see as trash are not as useless as we think they are. Trash are made from raw materials that have different uses. And while we think they are waste per se, it's time we think otherwise. There are lots of things we can recycle, like plastics, papers, metals, and textiles. To recycle, it means to reuse trash in order to produce something new. When we do so, we reduce the trash around us, which would then reduce the pollution. Not only that, but we also produce something we could use. More than this, recycling gives us a new supply of resources to create better. Recycling is a small thing to show that we care for the environment.
I know St. Peter won't call my name.
I care for the environment. I recycle.
I used to place I used to own.
Electricity is responsible for the operation of machines, the production of light, and the existence of transportation. Electricity, a constant in our life, something that we take granted for. There are a lot of sources for electricity, but our main source right now is through converting heat energy from burning fossil fuels. As electricity strives to keep up with humans, the environment suffers to keep up with the generation of electricity. Burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas does not only produce electricity, but also carbon dioxide and other gases that add up to the cause of global warming. I care for the environment. I will turn off the light.